Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this latest WWE Smackdown review video. We started off with the Bloodline and look at Sami having the time of his life. But it wasn't just Sami, this was the Usos against the Brawling Brutes. It was Sheamus and Butch, and you can see that the Usos retained their undisputed unified tag team championships. Sheamus trying to make the save and Sami stopping him. So a good night here for the Bloodline. They are retaining those tag titles. Then we went backstage and we saw Gable Steveson, an Olympic gold medalist, bright future. He was here with Kurt Angle, which was really cool. So they were heading to Kurt's birthday celebrations. Then in the ring, we got LA Knight. LA Knight was saying that he wanted justice. Obviously, he's been attacked the past few weeks by, we think, Bray Wyatt. So he wanted justice. He showed us the attacks. And then he was interrupted by Uncle Howdy. And Uncle Howdy basically said, what type of man are you? Like, this guy deserves to be punished. So, basically do it, go and do it before the door closes. The door is closing. This was really interesting. The whole, him goading LA Knight into attacking Bray was really interesting. But then telling him that the door is closing. I don't know, man. I really like that. It kind of feels like there's a clock that's ticking down. It kind of feels like you need to do it now because you won't get an opportunity in the future. And I don't know why. I don't know why he's saying that. I feel like if all of this is Bray, if what you see on screen is Bray, if the person attacking LA Knight is Bray, if it's all been Bray all along, then that would suggest there's like an inner turmoil. And it might suggest that the nice Bray, the Wyndham Bray, that Bray could be going soon. The clock is ticking down. The door is closing. So I thought this was kind of interesting. We have done a big video on this, so I'm not going to spend too long on this. I will put a link to that video on screen right now. Next we got, I must admit, I did miss this because I was too busy talking about what had just happened with Bray. So I didn't quite catch everything that was said here. But this is basically going to be Ronda and Shayna taking on Tegan Knox and Liv Morgan. This is a tag match. Basically, Ronda and Shayna had attacked Shotzi, and I believe the winner of this would get a tag opportunity. Now, I didn't know that until it was mentioned on the watch-along, but to be honest, I just think this is a bit rubbish. Look at the state of this women's tag division. I mean, we are literally having to throw women together into random tag teams, and then the winner just gets a tag title opportunity. Like, there is literally no women's tag division to speak of right now, to the point where we're having to do this. So really wasn't feeling this at all. I wasn't feeling this either. I don't know if you had this in America, but here in the UK, we just got this shot whilst Michael Cole was talking about some NFL, maybe college football stuff, but we didn't see any graphics. He was just telling us about games that were coming up, I think, on Fox. And this was the shot we saw. Just people bored people in the crowd. I don't feel like this was the best shot to go for. So, as I said, I don't know. This was on screen for like a minute whilst we were just talking about, the games that are coming up on Fox. So, I don't feel like this was the right shot for them to go for. I have no idea what these people were watching at this point. Because if they could see themselves, I would have to think they wouldn't look as glum as what they do here. Then we went back to the ring and we got Viking Raiders taking on Legado del Fantasma. Hit Row came out and just started beating them up. So I think they announced that next week we're going to be getting a triple threat between those three teams. Then we got LA Knight looking for Bray Wyatt. So obviously earlier he wanted justice. Uncle Howdy basically said, what kind of man are you to LA Knight? And said, go and punish him. And so LA Knight went off to see if he could find Bray. He found this t-shirt. Then the lights went out. And then we got this. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I think you can really see the outline of Bray's body here. I think you can see, I feel like this is Bray. And I think you can see just how big he is. I don't know if they were trying to like hide his body shape. I don't know if I feel like they're trying to hide his dreads and trying to hide his hair, but I really feel like that's Bray. I don't have much doubt about that. There's nothing there that makes me think that that's someone different. There's a few theories that this could be Bo, but I really think the person in the owl mask is Bo. So I'm feeling like this is Bray. We saw this and then we went to commercial break straight away. So we didn't see what happened to LA Knight. I'm guessing it wasn't good news. Then we went back and this was cool that we had Jason Jordan arrive. Jason Jordan arrived to Kurt Angle's birthday celebration. You might remember that Jason Jordan was revealed a good few years ago now to be Kurt Angle's son. So this was a nice little callback. And I think that card said #1 dad on it as well. So that was fun. Then we went to the ring. I have no idea who Ruth Gotobed is. I have no idea, but shout out to Ruth Gotobed, who got a good shout out on the show. But we had the New Day dressed up as Power Rangers, and this was a contract signing for Ricochet versus Gunther. Obviously, Ricochet winning the World Cup last week. So this was the contract signing for it. You could see this was going to be a 6-person tag from a mile away. And it turned into a brawl. It turned into a 6-person tag. It turned into a victory for New Day and Ricochet. And honestly, so much of this show felt like it was filler. It just really felt like we were trying to kill time. And this was a prime example of that. Then we went backstage and we went back to Kurt Angle's party, and Alpha Academy couldn't get in. You can see the Street Profits could, and they were really enjoying that. What was probably more interesting was that we saw Bray talking to someone in the background. Now, we don't know if it is someone. We have seen Bray talking to either someone or himself in the background before. So this was interesting. I feel like he's probably talking to no one. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Bray is crazy. So I think he was probably talking to no one again. I like this. I think that this can definitely get a few theories doing the rounds. So maybe he was talking to Bo. I don't know. I feel like it was probably no one. I feel like he's probably talking to himself. Then we got Sami and I think this was Jimmy Uso. And he was basically saying to him, like, you might want to cut your beard, you might want to cut your hair. Roman is on the show next week, and it could be a big week for you. So this was really good. This was really good because it's really hinting at a big Sami segment next week, and I'm definitely down for that. Then we got this really disturbing story. So we had an injured Rey Mysterio, and Karrion Kross arrived, and he was saying, did you know that Scarlett was Romanian? And fun fact, I didn't. And then he also said, well, she used to have a horse, and the horse was like a great horse, and then it became like a workhorse, and then it couldn't be a workhorse anymore. And you could see in its eyes that it knew that it was no use anymore. And it was a really sad story. And I don't know if it was intended to put Rey to sleep or something, but it didn't help. And Scarlett was kind of smiling all throughout, which was a little bit sadistic. I kind of feel like she should have been a little bit glum, like, you know, remembering the horse that she doesn't have anymore or was probably put down. This whole thing, of course, was a way of telling Rey, you are that horse, you're not needed anymore. But it was kind of fun. I must admit, it was a good promo. But it was something that we were able to have fun with during the watch-along. Then we got this Lacey segment. Obviously, this is the new gimmick for Lacey. Gimmick 127 now, I think, where she is training in the army. There's a weird voiceover that's like, most people wouldn't be able to leave the comfort of their own couch and all this kind of stuff. But Lacey is out there, full makeup, looking fabulous. I mean, if you are going to be in a war zone, you might as well look fabulous whilst you're doing it. So, yeah, this is, as we said, a new gimmick for Lacey. And hopefully this one works for her because obviously we've tried a few things and they've all fallen flat, to be honest. Then we got the match between Liv and Tegan versus Ronda and Shayna. Raquel Rodriguez came down, provided a distraction. That allowed Tegan to hit the Shiningest Wizard, or whatever it's called. She hit the Shiny Wizard, and then she seemed to get injured. She seemed to grab her ankle on the outside. I mean, honestly, I swear this girl is just made of glass. Like, you even look at her and you're worried that she's going to break. So she and Liv embrace. They've now got an opportunity at the women's tag titles. Then we got to our main event, and I just wasn't feeling this. I think segments that we've had in the past that are iconic really should stay in the past. I don't feel like we should rehash them, because you're never going to make them as iconic, and they're always going to be compared to the first time, and they're never going to compare well. And so this was Alpha Academy upset at not being allowed in the party. They came out, told Kurt to get out the ring, said that Otis was going to eat his cake. And so Kurt got out the ring, got a milk truck, and then started hosing them down. There's some nice visuals here of like Otis going flying, Kurt and Gable Steveson drowning them. Like, this was fun, silly. I mean, like, it was all of those things, but it's one of those where you just have to turn your brain off. Like, why were Alpha Academy standing in the ring, seeing a milk truck approaching them? Like, jump out the ring. Go in the crowd. You know what's going to happen. We all know what is going to happen. Get out the ring. But they just stood there and waited for this milk truck to come to them. The other thing as well is, what was Kurt's plan for this milk truck? If no one had actually interrupted him, what was he going to do with this milk truck? I can't imagine that's cheap to rent. So, like, what was he going to do with it? What was his plan if Alpha Academy hadn't have come down? So this is what I'm saying. Like, you just have to switch your brain off. I mean, it's just a fun way to end the show. But this wasn't something that I see as iconic or fantastic or crazy or anything along those lines. This is a rehash of something we've done before. And as I said, I just don't think it lives up to that same standard. So I would have much rather have seen something new, original, different, interesting. But I think they just needed an ending, and they went with this. So there we go. That was this week's SmackDown. I think there was a fair bit of filler on this. I must admit, I'm probably around a 6. There was not really much in the way of matches that I cared for. The first match for the tag title, I suppose, was interesting, but I never really felt like the Usos were going to lose those belts. And that match went on for ages as well. And then, like, all the other match that followed just didn't really feel like they had much going for them. And then, as I said, this ending was a bit of a rehash. I did like the Bray stuff. I thought the Bray stuff was all right. I actually didn't mind that. That, I think, for me, would be a highlight of the show. Seeing Jason Jordan with, like, Kurt Angle, I thought that was pretty cool as well. So there's definitely some positives here. This is not a disaster by any means, but I would say it was one of the weaker recent episodes. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And, of course, we will see you again next time. Bye for now.